Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched a Movie. I am Mike, and I have another Scream update. So I finally got my hands on the Ultimate Guide to Scream from Entertainment Weekly. And I want to talk to you guys about it. It's this magazine that's been going around. It's probably at your local grocery store. It is priced at $14.99, which is fucking price gouging for a goddamn magazine. But still, they talk to the cast about the new movie. They do some deep dives into the old movies. It's a nice, it's a nice time. So I did learn 5 new things from that I wanted to talk to you guys about. But first, we all know that Morbius has just been delayed. I wanted to talk about that. There's a lot of people worried that Scream's going to get delayed now. Morbius was pushed all the way back from the 27th of January all the way to April the 1st. They're saying it's because of Omicron. I hope it's not because of Omicron, but rather because of something stupid like, oh my God, we just realized that you can totally tell Jared Leto's high as shit on peyote in this scene. Because if it is because of Omicron, and it seems like it is, at least they're saying that it is, it seems like that's bad news for movies in general, because as we talked about in the live stream last night, go check that out if you haven't, there's a lot of it's bad news fucking bears for movie theaters if there's a huge movie theater shutdown again. I don't know if they could survive it. And it's also bad news for this year's movies. We don't want to go through this again. And it's also really bad news because Scream's still supposed to come out in fucking 11 days. I can't fucking do math. 9 days. Scream is supposed to come out in 9 days. I do think that is way too close for them to push Scream back if that's what you're worried about. That is just my prediction. I could be fucking wrong. I thought we had flour this morning and I was going to make biscuits and gravy, and then I just ended up eating fucking biscuits because we didn't have any flour. I'm an idiot who gets shit wrong all the goddamn time. I thought we were going to get a Scream trailer last week. Didn't see that shit, did you? Fuck. If you did, let me know. But my point is, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's way too soon to delay Scream now. But shout out to those people who are living in places that are getting shutdowns that I keep hearing are coming out. That fucking sucks. The good news is I also hear that the movie's going to be out on Paramount Plus in 45 days after release. So if your theater is shut down, hopefully you can find a way to fucking see that shit before then. But if not, 45 days is going to happen. That's just my take. I don't think it'll happen, but we will see. Okay, so on to the magazine that I read and the 5 new things I learned. Now, I want to be very, very naked and upfront male nudity, full male nudity with you all, full frontal male nudity with you, or the backside if you prefer the ass. Some of you guys might already know this stuff, all right? Shout out to the fucking people on Reddit, man, because the Scream community on Reddit knows their fucking shit, okay? You guys are just fucking, give yourselves a fucking hand, because you're all smart son bitches. So, but this is the first I've learned of some of this stuff, so I wanted to talk about it, and I thought that would be fun, because that's what you do on a movie channel. Everybody's a suspect! I use that every Scream video, and I'm not going to stop. You've already made that joke. Just leave her alone. So the first thing that I learned came from Courtney Cox, who said that they are actually going to be referencing their own movies in this film. So, in the other movies, they reference all the horror movie rules, the meta shit, all that good stuff. It's interesting to me, I say, fuck shit. She says that in the past, the Scream movies were referencing all the horror movies before it. In this Scream, we're referencing the previous Screams, and I love that. So you see this shot right here where Dewey's talking to the kids, and you see on the table, if you look really closely, that they're watching the Stab movies. And I feel like this might be Dewey teaching them the rules, showing them the Stab films and like how it happens or whatever. I don't know how exactly that's going to tie into the film, but I wonder if she actually means they're referencing the actual Scream movies. Because I'll read it to you again. In this Scream, we're referencing the previous Screams. I love that. She could actually be talking about the Stabs, but they've done that before. So it feels weird that she would reference that, which brings a little bit more credence to the thought that they might Wes Craven's new nightmare this bitch and have the actors playing themselves and someone picking off the actors, and this whole thing's been a ruse, and that's the big fucking twist. I made a whole video about that. That's been talked about a whole lot. I still think there's a possibility that happens. I still think there's a possibility Stu fucking comes back. But you know what I'm saying? And then maybe Drew Barrymore's the fucking killer at the end of that movie. She's actually pissed that they killed her off in the beginning of the fucking movie. I don't fucking know. I'm not saying, again, that's going to happen here because, again, we've talked about it. But it is interesting to me that she says they are actually going to reference these Scream movies in the Scream movie, which these actors don't know they're in a fucking Scream movie, right? Like, it's not that meta yet. So she's either talking about Stab, or there's a fucking nugget missing here, or that's actually true, and this movie is going to new nightmare it up. That I found really interesting for me. Number 2, thing that I fucking learned about this is that they are hoping to make a sixth film, but it's not for sure yet. Now, I know this has been talked about a little bit. Like some people say that the new cast is supposed to do a new trilogy. They don't know, but this just seems like a little bit new information to me. They say, so what about the next chapter? The team says they held nothing back working on the fifth film, just in case they don't get to work on a sixth. But if there's a great story to tell down the road, I would never say no, because this franchise means so much to me, and these characters mean so much to me, and the actors were so wonderful, says Vanderbilt, one of the writers. But all of that would be icing on the cake. The whole cake for me was getting to make this movie. Now, that could mean two things. That could mean, one, he's saying, I don't know if I'll be able to work on the next movie. It would be really lovely to. But I thought it was interesting that he said, if there's a great story to tell down the road. That makes this Scream seem a lot more contained than as its own movie than I think a lot of us might have thought. You know, I thought for sure, as long as the movie does well, they had a trilogy in mind, or they have future films in mind. I thought that for sure. But this is interesting that he says, if there's a great story to tell down the road, as if that story is definitely not already built in. So this is not a Halloween Kills situation. This is definitely a contained movie that obviously will have the opportunity to maybe branch out. One thing I'd like to see, and tell me what you guys think about this, I'd like to see fucking Ghostface win in the end. And then what if the killer's not revealed? What if there is no killer reveal and you expect there to be, and the surprise is that they don't? He fucking gets away. I don't know how many people have to die for that to happen. You got me too deep. I think I'm dying here. And let me know what you guys think about that whole theory down below, that could possibly happen, and would you like that if that happened? Number 3, I learned it's mentioned twice here that this movie is both bloodier and gorier than previous Screams. At one point, Courtney Cox says, specifically, she says, I can't tell you much, but when I tell you the scares are scarier, the gore is gorier, the killings are, I don't know what the word would be from that line, but it's crazy. So this reminds me also of Halloween Kills, because, you know, everybody was saying, oh my God, it's so fucking gory, it's fucking crazy. Not to that level, but they are saying it is. And Neve Campbell said the same thing. She said, I can't tell you much, but I might say that the level of blood is slightly higher in these films, and I can't tell you much more than that. Which, my friends, is fucking exciting. And it's because I'm a sick bastard who sleeps with his pants on at night. That's actually a lie. I can't sleep with pants on. I can't sleep naked either. The sheets give me a boner, and I can't sleep. But anyways, that was great fucking news, because look, it's not that a movie has to be gory and super nasty for it to be a good horror film. Like, we all know that. We all know the original Halloween barely had any blood in it. But the thing about Scream is, when you're balancing comedy and horror the way that they do, Scream is at its best when it catches you off guard. I think one of the reasons Scream was able to be scary and funny and entertaining in its weird way that only Scream can do, that it was because of the way it opened. So Drew Barrymore, of all fucking people, hanging from a tree with her goddamn intestines hanging out. Like, that set the fucking tone, and it allowed you to be scared because anything could happen at any moment, and it let them joke around. So I think that the third movie obviously got away from that with their kills. It totally missed the boat on that one. Scream 4 had some gore in it, yeah, but I don't think that it hit the mark either, as far as making the violence and the jokes funny. Like, I think that a Scream movie at this point, if they really want to bring it back and make it scary, they're going to need to make it a little bit more violent, and it sounds like they're going to fucking do that. 4, we learned a little bit about one of the kills that's going to happen. If you watch Rambo 3, one of the most badass sequences in the entire Rambo franchise, Rambo at one point has a wound, okay? And he literally cuts open a fucking bullet, pours in the gunpowder into the wound, and lights it on fire to fucking cauterize the wound. And it's one of the most manly fucking moments in the history of movies. But it's really cool to learn here that they actually have a kill that's inspired by that scene. They're talking to the special effects team, and they're talking about that scene. They say Rambo sutures himself using a bullet. He basically pours the gunpowder in. One of the SFX artists, Jeff Goodwin, had worked on the original practical effect and pitched the idea to the directors. It ended up being very challenging, but on the day when it all came together, it's so visceral that we had gasps on set. It's one of those effects that I think people will see and think it's CGI, and it's not. So we're going to have one kill that looks like this scene that has something to do with that. I don't know if that evolves into the person in the kitchen who's on fire that we saw in the trailer. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that sounds like an awesome fucking kill, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. Number 5, and I think we already expected this. We got a little bit of Easter egg stuff with the trailer, but they say that there's going to be a whole lot of Easter eggs in Stu's house specifically. They say every nook and cranny of an exterior of Stu's house was recreated on the lot. You have the blueprint. Fans should keep an eye out for Easter eggs. We did some throwouts to Wes Craven and teasers from the original house that will be really recognizable. That's really interesting to me because we all were excited to see Stu's house back. How does that play a role in this? That's going to be fascinating to see. If you see a couple of the shots, you can see red cups in the background, so there is a party going on here. I have no idea how that plays in. Maybe some kids are trying to recreate the killings from the original Scream. I don't fucking know, but I'm really excited for it. But yeah, that's one thing you're going to really look for if you want to see a lot of Easter eggs, is going to be at Stu's house. And one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about that I thought was interesting. I was thinking about this. There's a lot in this magazine that they repeat over and over again about how, hey, this is a love letter. This is about Wes Craven. This is all about Wes Craven. So much love for him. It's the only reason Nev came back is because the directors, they watched a bunch of Wes Craven movies. They really wanted to honor him. David Arquette, everybody's saying just the most beautiful things about Wes Craven, as they should. My question to you guys is, a couple years ago, when we talked about this a little bit in the live stream last night, but we didn't really get into it. A couple years ago, I don't know if it was a couple years ago, but quite a while ago, they announced that the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street had reverted back to the Wes Craven estate, and that they were taking pitches from people about how to possibly make a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And then it was radio silence. That's fucking meta! I haven't heard anything, haven't heard jack shit since. Now, I guess either they're waiting to see, or they decided not to. They just wanted, in honor of Wes Craven, his family, his estate, decided not to do anything with it. Or maybe they haven't heard just the right pitch yet. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But my question to you is, do you guys think they have to be watching and paying attention to this, right? They have to be seeing, if Scream comes out, and they make this beautiful ode to Wes Craven, and the movie's successful, and it's well loved, and it's gets good ratings and all that shit, and everything's fucking hunky dory. Like, I kind of expect it will. Like, I have high hopes for this movie. Do you guys think that could prompt the family to say, you know what, they made it work? You know, they made this work, and they honored Wes. So we are going to do something with this property. We're going to let somebody try to do that. And if they do, who's to say it's not fucking radio silence? They're already in this world. They're already in Wes Craven's head. And if they fucking knock Scream out of the park, who's to say they couldn't knock Nightmare on Elm Street out of the park? And if they're going to sell the rights to somebody, they could sell the rights to the people who already own Scream, which creates this weird little Wes Craven cinematic universe. Fuck! Which blows my fucking mind. I just want to know what you guys think about all that. Just take that idea in. Just, take it in, think it over with your heart and soul, and let me know what you think. Do you think Scream could prompt the reawakening of A Nightmare on Elm Street? And do you think that could happen in the way I just said? Now, I'm not saying they need to tie in Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street together. I'm not saying that they shouldn't either. I'm just saying it's fucking there. You know what I mean? Live or alone. Thank you guys for watching this video. We're going to have a lot of Scream content coming up in the lead up to the movie. As you guys know, Jay's not a huge fan of the sequels, but I'm going to be doing I got a bunch of stuff planned. It's going to be a really fun time in the panty drawer. And also, I'm going to put the link down below. I created an entire Scream playlist of every Scream video. There's 40 of the sons bitches. All right, 40 of them. Skits, commentaries, movie reviews, all that shit over the past almost 10 years now of this channel that we've done. So check that out below. Thank you all for watching this video. I love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. Click the like button too. It takes a second, helps out a whole big fucking bunch. Really would appreciate that. We love your all's fucking faces. Have a great goddamn day.